Now, what is an instruction? The instruction is composed of an operational code, and the other major field is operand, right? So operational, the code will define the type of operation, and the operand, right, will reside in the memory, right? So resides in the instructions are classified based upon the different types of operations. Now, what are the different types of operations it can perform? We have classified as it will move the data. So I will call such type of instructions as data movement instruction. Then I have arithmetic instruction. Then I will have another classification called logical instruction. Then we have conditional instruction, right? Or you can call it as branch instruction also. It is also popularly known as branch instruction. And the other classification is unconditional instruction. And then we have stack related instruction. Okay, stack instruction. So these are the instructions classified based upon the type of operation. Now, when based upon the operands, right, where the operands are residing, they resides in the memory, and there are various ways to access these operands from the memory, and that method is called as addressing modes, right? And how many different types of addressing modes we have? We have studied immediate addressing mode, right? And then we have register addressing mode, register, or we can call it as direct memory addressing mode, register indirect memory addressing mode. Then we have registered indexed addressing mode, and we have stack addressing mode. Apart from these addressing modes, we have many different types of addressing modes. Next is, now how many such operands fields are available in an instruction? Depending on that, based upon the number of operands in the instruction, what we have done is, I will take the next page. Now, based upon the number of operands, hash means number of operands. Based upon the number of operands in the instruction, what we have done, we have classified the instruction into 5 categories. One is zero address instruction format. Similarly, we have one address instruction format. Then we have two address instruction format, and we have three address instruction format, and then finally we have 4 address instruction format. Now, what is this zero address instruction format means? There, the operands are not specified in the instruction. Say, for example, clear accumulator. So they just, we are telling that there is an operation, and the operands we are not mentioning here explicitly. There are no operands mentioned here in the instruction. Just an example I'm giving you. Such instructions looks like only there is an opcode. There is an opcode, clear accumulator. Now, what is this accumulator? Accumulator is one of the special register, special function register. That name is accumulator. That register we are going to clear it. Clear means making 0, forcing the value of that register to be 0. And we have not specified anything, right? So we have not specified here any operand. So along with that opcode, implicitly we have mentioned the operands. Implicitly we have mentioned the operands. So there are no operands available here. Such type of instruction format, we call it as zero address instruction format. In one address instruction format, we will define like this. We will write clear something like R0, clear R0, or I can write an instruction clear R1. How many operands we are going to mention in the instruction? Only one operand we are going to mention in this instruction, right? And clear is what? An operational code. And how many operands we are mentioning in an instruction? Only one. So such type of instruction formats, we call it as one address instruction format. So you have another different types of instruction format. I will take an example of add R0, comma R1. So how many operands we have mentioned here? Two operands we have mentioned. Another type of example I will give, move R1, comma R0. So we are moving the content of R1 into R0 into R1, right? So these are the such type of instructions are an examples for two address instruction format. Now for three address instruction format, how it looks like. So I will write add R0, comma R1, comma R2. Now how many operands we have mentioned here? Three operands we have mentioned. Okay, so this will be the structure. Then we have for four address instruction format, I will write it as add R0, comma R1, comma R2, comma next instruction. I'm going to give the label. Okay, so label of what? Which instruction needs to be executed next. So four operands are there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So such type of instructions we call it as four address instruction format. Now we will see quickly in detail what are these, how to pick up a instruction format, which address instruction format is best suitable. I will write a general syntax for zero address instruction format. So the general syntax will be what? Just we are going to mention only opcode. In one address instruction format, you will have an opcode, right? And along with this opcode, we have another field that will be reserved for an operand. Only one operand we are going to mention. Similarly, for two address instruction format, so how to draw the syntax? There will be an opcode, there will be an operand 1, and there will be an operand 2. So this will be this instruction format for two address instruction format, right? And similarly, when we ask for the three address instruction format, you are supposed to write like this: opcode, this is operand 1, operand 2, and operand 3. And this is three address instruction format. Now next we have four address instruction format. Now look at this all instruction format. Now what do you feel? What is your observation in these different types of instruction format? Here we have opcode. This will be for operand 1. This is for operand 2. This is for operand 3. And this is for the next address. I will write next. This will be destination. This will be source 1, source 2. This is destination. This is source 1, source 2. And in two address instruction format, this is destination as well as source. And this is second source operand. And here, this is what? Source operand 2. Now, where is source operand 1? By default, operand 1 will be by default in stack memory. It is going to refer into the stack memory. And where is the destination? Again, it is the stack memory, right? Now, by looking at these all instruction, 0 address, 1 address, 2 address, 3 address, and 4 address, what is your observation in terms of the sizes of the instruction? Sizes. Which one is larger in size?
4.
It is 4 address instruction format. Why it is large? It is common sense that we have many fields in the instruction. Okay, say for example, if opcode is taking 4-bit, and we will keep all 4 for the opcode, right? And if I reserve for opcode 1, operand 1, another 4-bit, another 4-bit, another 4-bit for next address 6 bits, then you need to add it. Say for example, when I write an add instruction, when I write add instruction in 0 address instruction format, there are no operands. I'm not going to specify any operands. So it will refer to what? To a stack memory. Now the values will be here something like 10 and 20. If I write in a zero address instruction format, it will retrieve first pop. Now what is pop? It will stack pointer. It will read the content from the stack pointer and it will hold in temporary register, right? So first value will be pop and it will be put into temporary register 1. And then the SP value will be decremented by 1. So SP value will be decremented by 1. And again, it will point here. And second time, again, you need to pop it. And that will be put into another temporary register called 10. And later, after adding these two, the result will become 30. And where the 30 needs to be stored, there is no destination operand we have mentioned. Again, this is pop 1, this is pop 2, and this becomes what? This will go off, right? And even this we have pop what? The 10 value, if the stack pointer has come, and when we are going to push the value, and after that popping, again the SP value has become decremented by another one. So I will write here, it is SP minus 1 minus 1. That is SP minus 2. Okay. So when we have read the first pop, it will read the content. It was 20. So 20 has been read. The stack pointer will be decremented by 1. The original SP is SP minus 1. SP minus 1. Now, when you read the second times we are popping. So first it will read the content. It was 10 here. So it was 10 here, right? So now this, after reading the 10, the stack pointer will again decrement by 1. So what is the current value of SP here? SP minus 1. So again SP minus 1 minus 1. So that it will become SP minus 2. Now, after adding 20 plus 10, the result is formed 30. Now we are there because there is no storage area. We have not specified explicitly in the instruction. So what it means by default, again, the resultant will be pushed into stack memory, right? Now, what is stack memory? First, SP value will be incremented by 1. So what is the current value of SP? SP minus 1 minus 1. Now you increment it plus 1. So that will be SP minus 1. So where it will point? It is going to point here, SP minus 1. Now this 30 will be dumped into here. Now look at the program execution, instruction execution of this. First, it needs to pop to read the value 20. To read the value 20, what has happened? It has read the value and it needs to move the content into what? Into a temporary register. So what is the first operation it has done? Read from stack, and move to where? Move to temporary register 1. Second step, it will decrement what? Stack pointer. Third step, next pop instruction. Only one operand is available now in temporary register 1. During next pop, again it will read from the stack, and it needs to execute what? Move instruction. Move to temporary register 2. Again, fourth step, what it is going to do? Again, it will decrement SP, whatever the value of stack pointer was there. Decrement the SP value. And then it is going to add what? Temporary register 1 plus temporary register 2. And after forming the result, that is equal to summation. Now this summation result will be put where? It will be put onto what? Push, or it is going to write onto the stack. So how it is going to write onto the stack? First, it will increment the value of SP, right? So I will write here first on the 6th step. First, it is going to increment the value of SP, and during the 7th step, it is going to write into the memory, write into the stack memory. That is push operation. What we have told, what is that instruction? Add. Now how the add is doing, right? How add is executing? It is reading from the stack, and it needs to move from one place to another place, then decrement the stack pointer, right? So every time every step it is going to take time to execute. But what is our function associated with that? Only addition. See here, movement, data movement instruction it needs to do, decrement it needs to do, again read it needs to do, decrement. So to perform an addition, it is going to take a lot of time. Is this type of instruction, zero address instruction, where the operands are not explicitly mentioned. There are no operands mentioned in the instruction because it is a zero address instruction format. Then such operands are residing where? By default, it will point to the stack memory. And for push operation, for pop operation, there are external overheads. Stack pointer it needs to maintain. It needs to increment and it needs to decrement for every read and write instruction. It is not the overhead in the addition instruction. Now, can I conclude zero address instructions are slower in execution? What is the merit in zero address instruction format? Can anybody tell me what is the merit? Slower in execution is a demerit, right? We don't want the instruction to be executed very slowly. So what is the merit?
Less memory.
Yes, it will occupy less memory, right? Because these instructions are what? With no operands, and the size of such instructions are very less. So in a memory, it is going to occupy what? A smaller space in the memory. So occupy less memory, or in other words, we can tell that it will have higher code density. In a given available amount of memory, when instruction sizes are small, so I can place more number of such instructions. I can place more number of such instructions like this, because the instructions are smaller in size, right? Now I will take another example. After zero, I will take fourth address instruction format. Four address instruction format, and the remaining I will take it a bit later. Four address instruction format. In four address instruction format, what we have done? So there will be an opcode, there will be an operand that will specify the destination field, and there are two source operand, one, and this is source operand number 2. This is source operand number 1. I will write source operand, and this is destination operand 1. And then there will be a next address. Next address. Now look at this. The demerit is what? Demerit is?
Consumes more memory.
Okay. So it will occupy a larger space in the memory. So therefore, lower code density. And we can place only few such large instruction in a memory, in a given memory. So therefore, we will have a small code. Therefore, we say it as lower code density. However, it has a merit. Now, what is that merit? Now look at this. Merit is, if I want to add 10 and 20. So there is no push and pop operation here, because the data is readily available. Say, for example, I want to add 10 and I will have 20 placed in a register. And where are these registered? Registers are the processor's memory, right? So it is not going to monitor the stack pointer, no increment, no decrement, no data transfer. The data is readily available with the processor itself. And where it needs to store? So it will store again in the register 30. And after executing, here the PC value is not going to be incremented. PC is equal to PC plus 1. Even this is also not required. Why? Because in the instruction explicitly we are mentioning that we are going to provide the which instruction to be executed next. In the instruction itself we are providing. Even there is no need of PC. Right? So if this next address, if we are not providing, then there will be a mechanism of program counter will come into picture. Now, in this scenario, 4 address instruction format, since the address of the next instruction to be executed is explicitly mentioned in the add instruction, so therefore we do not require the phenomenon of program counter register. right? So if I go via program counter register, it will consume some time, right? So it will take some time to perform what? To reach to the next instruction. Even that time also we are saving here. So hence, I can conclude that the merit of 4 address instruction format is what? They are much faster in execution. 4 address, then we have 3 address, 2 address, 1 address, and 0 address. Code density, performance, or I will write higher execution. Higher performance or higher execution, right? Now, we have understood 0 address instruction format. So in 0 address instruction format, it is very, very high. It is very high, right? And in 4 address instruction format, it is very low. It is very low, right? So it is going to drop it. If you shift from 0 address instruction mode to 4 address instruction mode, then you are tending, your code density is tending from higher to lower. Now, in the terms of execution, higher execution, now which is faster? This is faster execution. Why it is faster? Because everything is readily available. I have given an example of add R0, R2, R1, R2, and it is going to generate the next address. So it has become, everything is readily available, even it is independent of program counter register. So that's why the 4 address instruction formats are much faster. And when I move tends towards the 0 address instruction format, now say for example, in 3 address instruction format, what happens? Add R0, R1, R2. And in 4th address instruction format, what happens? Add R0, R1, R2, the next instruction execution, the next instruction address we have mentioned here. Now, how this has become slower? This addition of R1 plus R2 and storing into R0 is same. But here, since they have directly mentioned the address of the next instruction to be executed, but here it is not mentioned. For that to identify the address of the next instruction to be executed, we need to take help of what? PC. It needs to take the original content of PC, and then that depending upon the size of the instruction, current instruction, that it needs to be added. So it will perform an addition. So addition also will take a time. So to compute the address of the next instruction, it is going to compute here. So this extra time is also included in the instruction execution. So this will become overhead. This will become what? An overhead. So that overhead was not available in the 4 address instruction format. So therefore, now this has become a bit slow because of this overhead. What is that overhead? Generating the address of the next instruction. No doubt, the time taken to execute the instruction addition is same in the 4 address also, 3 address also. But where is that overhead time coming from? In the 3 address instruction format, it is not going to reach to the next immediate instruction for the instruction execution, because the address is not directly available. Explicitly, it is not directly available. Therefore, next, in 2 address instruction format, what happens? R0, right? R1. Now, source operand and destination operand. So it cannot update the result immediately after the execution. Why? Because this R0 is acting as what? A source operand as well as the destination operand. R0, see, look at here. So here also there will be an overhead of calculating the address of the next instruction. Along with this, now suppose if an example we have move, right? I want to copy the content of R0 into, say for example, R2. Now at this level, what is this instruction? R0 is equal to R0 plus R1. The description of this instruction is what? It is going to add the content of R0 and R1, and the result will be stored where? In R0. Now immediately the next instruction after this is what? you are going to put the copy of R0 into R2. Is it possible? Right? After completing the execution, complete execution of this instruction, only this instruction will be executed, because this one of the operand is depending upon the previous operand, right? So we cannot overlap these instructions. We cannot overlap the instruction execution because the operands are dependent. The operands are what? Dependent. No doubt, the next instruction after add is move only, but move cannot be overlapped. So there is a fetch cycle, there is a decode cycle, there is an execution cycle, right? Fine. So now what happens in the fetch cycle? Again, this fetch, decode, execute. So say, for example, this is an add instruction and this is move instruction. Can we overlap the instruction execution here? Fetch is free. So first instruction is free. It will go to decode phase. The second instruction is fetch. During the execution, can we decode and access the operand? Answer is no. Because R0 is still under execution. R0 is still not updated. If you decode and get the access of the operand, then what happened? You are going to get the wrong value of R0. Now what happens is, I cannot overlap, even though the decode cycle machine is free. The decode hardware is free. Can I decode during the execution of the previous instruction? Answer is no, because the operands are dependent. Operands are dependent. If operands are independent, then we could have used the decoder circuit and we could have overlapped it. So what happens is, now during the execution, since operands are what? Dependent, here there will not be decode performed. So this is an time stall. It will wait. It will wait. After the execution of the previous instruction, now it will decode. Now it will decode and further it will execute that instruction. Now this is the additional time delay. Time stall has happened. So therefore, again, this execution, in terms of the higher execution, again, it has been reduced compared to 3 address instruction format. In the 3 address instruction format, the destinations are readily available, right? The destinations are what? Readily available. But here the destinations are not readily available. The source and destinations are one, right? So both are mixed, right? So therefore, there will be a stalling during the pipelining operation. So it has become, again, if we have the dependent variable, dependent operands, then it is going to add the additional time, right? So now, similarly, in one address instruction format, what happens? I will write add R0, only one operand. Now, where is then another operand? If it is not mentioned here, by default, the other operand will be referred to stack memory. It is referred to stack memory. Okay. Now, what is how it is going to execute? It will take the content of R0 and then it is going to add the content of the stack memory. And after adding the content, performing the addition, again, it will push the result into the stack memory. So this is the, these are the overhead time. So here it is to read the stack content, then add with the content of R0, and finally producing the result, it is going to write the content into the stack. So write operation, read operation are the two overhead, along with what? Calculating the address of the next instruction. So it is depending on the 2 times the stack pointer is varied. First time, after reading, it is decremented. After performing addition, again the stack pointer is incremented. So those are the additional overheads, right? And in the zero address instruction format, if I say only add, then the number of operations, even for this also, it is, you need to read it from where? From the stack. So now it is more overhead time. So one operand, second operand needs to be read. 3 times the stack pointer will be varied. Here the stack pointer will be decremented by 1. Here the stack pointer will be decremented by 1. Here the stack pointer is incremented by 1, right? In zero address instruction format. Along with what? the overhead of generating the address of the next instruction. So therefore, zero address instructions are slower in nature. Slower in nature. So this is all about 4 address instruction format. Now, if you look at these 2 parameters, code density and higher execution, these are like trade-off parameter. Trade-off means what? Say, for example, there is a wheat and there is a rice. What is the trade now? If there is no money involved here in exchange. If he give wheat, he will provide rice, right? So these are the 2 trade-off parameters. Now trade-off means what? One to achieve, you are losing the another one. To take rice, you need to give wheat. And according to this person, if he give rice, then only he will get wheat. So now which are the 2 trade-off parameters now? Code density and higher execution. If you want higher code density, you want to store more number of instruction in small memory, then what about the program execution? It will become slow. You are achieving here in terms of higher code density, then you are losing at the other end, that is your program is getting slower in execution. And if you compare to the 4 address instruction format, if you want to have what? Faster in execution, then you cannot store large number of instruction you cannot store in the available memory. Can anybody pick up which addressing instruction format I need to choose among 5? Most of the microcontrollers or the processors will use what? 2 address instruction format to compromise between code density and higher execution. Neither I want to lose code density or neither I want to compromise with the higher execution, high speed execution. So therefore, most of the microcontroller or the processor design will choose 2 address instruction format. In the textbook, you will see they used to give the example add R0, R1 kind of thing. So 2 address instruction format. However, it was the earlier concept. 2 address instruction format will give you what? A compromising decision between the code density and the high speed execution. What if I will provide you large memory chips? Large memory chips I will provide. Which address instruction format you will pick up?
4.
It is 4 address. Why 4 address? Because you are achieving the fast, higher execution, high speed execution. Fantastic. But what you are losing, you cannot store bigger program in small memory. Why we cannot store a bigger program in small memory? Because each instruction itself is bigger in size. So I can store only few instructions. What if I provide larger memory? The container itself I will increase. I will make a big container. So therefore, now you will see in the picture, earlier we used to have our hard disks in terms of NB, then it has jumped to GB. Now it has come with terabytes now.